We have these magnificent gifts and abundance and opulence and all of this crazy great stuff. But the thing that we think we want the most, thinking mind, isn't being given to us right now on purpose.
This is a long time coming. Y'all have heard about Michael Sandler and the profound impact that he has made on my life and hundreds of thousands of others all around the world. Let me do a brief intro, and he's sitting right here beaming all that joy. But quickly, in case you aren't aware, yeah, he's doing the high five for us, y'all. Michael Sandler is a mystical teacher and the host of the massively popular Inspire Nation show, a transformational self-help, spiritually focused YouTube channel and podcast that has radically transformed my life and the lives of hundreds of thousands worldwide while producing over 2,000 shows. I bet that number's higher at this point. He's a best-selling author, speaker, coach, and co-creator of the School of Mystics and Awe, the automatic writing experience. That book has also profoundly changed my life. Michael, hello, you bright and beautiful beacon of light. Are you ready to shine today? I had to.
I have no other way to put this, Michelle, but woohoo! I think you've got me beat. You are shining even brighter than I am, Michelle.
There's no way that's possible. All I know is you've helped me so tremendously. So I'm going to backtrack to about 16 months ago when I was just waking up to the ways of the actual world, call it the Matrix. My listeners have been on the journey with me, and we're on it together. And it was dark. It felt hopeless, and I had lost my connection to spirit and that radiant light within, truly. And then I came across your show. I cannot remember how, but my angels and guides clearly led me there. And you had people like Belinda Womack on, and Suzanne Geisman, and Paul Selig, whom I had never heard of, and I was feeling the energy and the vibration of that which you were transmitting through the screen. And I was like, there's something here. And then you did an episode from your RV in a pouring down rainstorm, thunderstorm. Hail was hitting the top of the RV, talking about the 20 different ways that our angels and guides are always communicating with us. And I was, first of all, just so impressed at your devotion of keeping that stream going. But B, that was the beginning of me understanding how to communicate. Know that my angels and guides are awaiting. Wake up in the morning saying, thank you, angels and guides. Thank you, angels and guides. So thank you, because you've been an angel. You've been a guide in my life. And I have to say that publicly and directly because I'm so grateful for you, Michael.
The mirror. So I take credit. We had a guest on years ago, a monk from Australia by the name of Ajahn Brahm, and he would say, thank you, I deserve that. So I will honor you by saying, thank you, I deserve that. Jessica and I have a running joke, that's my wife, where we go, thank you, I deserve that. And then we go, Ajahn Brahm, because we give credit for it. But with that said, it takes one to know one. So we are all beacons of bright and shiny light on the inside. The thing is, we have forgotten it because of what I call a safety mechanism. We are taught not to shine bright. It's sort of like we've all been taught, if you go into New York City, if you're going to ride the subway, dim your light as much as you can, get as small as you can so that somebody doesn't see you or spot you. Don't attract unwanted attention. And we go and throw a cloak over ourselves as a safety mechanism. We're taught it from our parents. We're taught it from teachers. We're taught to play it small and dim. And what happens? We get freaked out, worried, exhausted, anxious, depressed. The act of pressing down one's light. To take one to know one means I'm not going to take it anymore. And you decided in that moment during a giant hailstorm to yank off the veil, to yank off that cloak and go, well, this is going to be scary and interesting, isn't it? But I'm going to. That's what you're doing. And that's what you're teaching, Michelle.
Woohoo! Yes, that's exactly what I've been experiencing. And I will take that. Thank you. I deserve that. Because, we've been on a journey, all of us. You've been on a profound journey for your whole life, but really this past year and a half with yet, another near-death experience, the loss of a twin in utero. Can we just talk about that for a moment? A brief background of maybe even your past year. What is within you that keeps pulling you forward, that you allow yourself to listen to stand for the truth while going through so much in your own life that most would say, you know what, peace out. That's hard. It's a beautiful dance.
Thank you. Let me start by doing full disclosure. I've come to realize and to honor that which is me. I'm a scaredy cat, Michelle. I'm going, oh my God.
Yeah.
I will call myself a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. What's going to go on here? But I also recognize it's a cosmic setup. I recognize that everything, I can't cherry pick. Everything is here for my highest good. I can be scared. I can be afraid. I can be confused. Even when the guides will speak to me on a daily basis and they're not confused at all. They're very clear. And I'm going, really? How I still step forward because I know there's so much more going on than meets the eye. And I know the miracles when they take place, even if, or especially if my conscious mind is fighting against them. That's why, as you started this, we were going, thank you, angels, thank you, guides. You're going, thank you, angels, thank you, guides. Last year on Jessica, my wife's birthday, she's pregnant in the RV with twins, which we had called in. It was such a miracle. We had had 3 miscarriages before that. I'm out on a bike ride on her birthday. Oh boy, saying, I'll be home in just a little bit. Whoops. And an SUV just blammoed into me. And I got knocked unconscious. I had to have my wrist rebuilt, still working on some of the, we'll call them mental side effects of getting hit in the head by a full-size SUV. Maybe I'm better, more fun for it. Who knows? But with that said, I woke up in the ambulance going, thank you, angels, thank you, guides. Thank you, angels, thank you, guides. Thank you, angels, thank you, guides. And I meant it. It wasn't thank you that I'm alive. It wasn't thank you for that I can still feel my fingers and toes, which is pretty darn grooving great. It was thank you for experience, because I understand, and I'm not wishing it on myself. I understand, and this is what we're all going through, and you mentioned it earlier. 2022, 2023, this time period, this transition period right now, going all the way into 2024 for that matter, is a period of cosmic and amazing upgrades. Are all being upgraded. Well, guess what? If we go to upgrade your computer, what are we going to do? We're going to take it apart. We're going to rip things out of it. We're going to put new things in. Hello. That's how you and I are feeling right now. We're being ripped apart so something else new can be put in. If we can recognize that, then the big, the bad, the scary, the ugly, all of a sudden we recognize it's part of the game at the highest level. So you get the smackdown, whatever that is for you. And I'm sure if you're listening, you've either gotten a smackdown or you're going to get a smackdown. And I'm not saying you have to go run and hide under the desk. That's not going to help. You're going to be upgraded, but it actually can be a huge gift if you recognize the energy behind it. So yes, I got hit by SUV. Not my proudest moment. The phone call from the police to Jessica on her birthday from my phone, definitely not the proudest moment. The, I guess it was first an ultrasound 3 weeks later where we're like, there may be a problem with your babies. Not our proudest moment. Wanting to get to the hospital sooner, but couldn't. They had to wait until Monday. And this was Thursday. And we're going, okay, we know something's up here. And we had to wait till Monday, and then getting into the hospital on Monday to be told, we can't give you both of your kids. If I hadn't done the work, Michelle, the work of speaking with spirit, because I'd done the meditation for years and all that junk. And by junk, what I mean by that is the veil is thinner than ever. Spirit is speaking to us more than ever. We don't have to go to a priest, a rabbi, a monk, or this or that to be able to speak with the other side. And it is commanded and demanded of us at this time. Thou shalt speak with God, so to speak, and God shall speak back. Whatever God, it's not a bearded white guy. Source, universe, love, giant cheeseburger in the sky, great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. We get to speak with the other side because the other side needs to talk with us now. Needs to speak with us. Now, thank God, so to speak, I had been in communication with my angels and guides before they sat us down. They sat Jessica and I down in a boardroom, a whole bunch of people, kind of white smock syndrome, and told us we can't save both of your kids. And you have a decision to make. How do you want to play it? Michelle, how would you want to play it? You get to either quite possibly lose both of your kids or maybe one. What's it going to be? Crazy. If I hadn't been in constant communication, because what happens is, whether it's automatic writing or there are other processes, this is the vehicle that I run with. It starts out as smoke signals for the other side. You think you hear something? Maybe, maybe not. It turns into a dial-up connection. I think I'm getting something across. It turns into cable, turns into a fiber optic cable. Then it turns into a fiber optic, what I call a tunnel. And then it's continuous communication. We don't always choose to listen to it. And you've had many great speakers or teachers on your show, and you know that we come along reluctantly to live in that space, perhaps 24/7. If I hadn't had that level of communication and I had to choose to let go of a child, I wouldn't be here speaking with you. I'd be like locked up in a padded room because I'd be filled with such, if I made it through, such guilt, such, I don't even have strong enough emotional words to describe how I feel by letting a child go. But I was in communication with the other side. And I did get to see her ascend. Really cool. Not that I wish it. And now I go into my automatic writing and I speak to her. Her name is Miracle, which means miracle. Jessica just calls her Miracle now. I get to speak to Miracle on a daily basis or a many time a day basis. And moving forward past that story, everything that happens in our lives right now, because when baby Hannah was born, who baby Miracle helped get here, because we'd had 3 miscarriages and baby Hannah had been circling the airport. She needed heart surgery on birth because she needed to use her heart to pump for 2. And she might still need heart surgery. I'll say cancel, clear release, but that's not up to us.
Yeah.
But with that said, we've been in this holding pattern, not where we belong long-term, but this holding pattern in a radius around the hospital now for really a good year.
Yeah.
And I want to be settled, Michelle. I want a home. I could cry because I want it so much, but it's not mine right now. This life is not mine. This life is not Michelle Soros. This life is none of ours. This life is a holographic image that is a fractional amount of who and what we truly are. We think we're held in control by the big bad matrix. That's actually part of the system to help you to ascend. It's all a setup in your favor. So we get too attached to what we want, although they're great guideposts, and we forget the big picture. The big picture is I'm in Earth School. I'm getting upgraded. I'm learning so much. This is freaking awesome, even in its unawesomeness. And I'm not going to tell you that I don't wake up and go, my God, I want a home. Please, may I have a home? Please, may I have a home? Please. And it's not that I'm homeless or anything of the sort. There's a giant, magnificent RV that's going to basically drop down into our driveway on Friday, or if there's a snowstorm on Saturday. We have these magnificent gifts and abundance and opulence and all of this crazy, great stuff. But the thing that we think we want the most, thinking mind, isn't being given to us right now on purpose. That's what everybody's experiencing right now. There's not a soul out there who's saying, well, I've got everything I want. I'm doing great, except for maybe Jim Carrey, who got everything he wanted. Now he's pulled back from movies because he's going, but it still doesn't mean I'm happy.
Right. God, it's so beautiful. Thank you for that journey too, by the way. It made me just remember how much I have felt a part of your journey, because you share so openly and so honestly, which is very much what we do here in the Fire and Soul community. And I remember when you were even looking for that rental that you're currently in right now in New Jersey, right? And like that twist and turn, and I know now you're about to embark on a new journey, and I remember egoic mind, right? And I love what Paul Selig says. He's like lower self, small self thinks, right? Highest self, upper room self, the truth of who we really are knows. And I remember being in probably a little bit more lower self when I was watching your journey. It's like, how could this guy who's so devoted to giving, to sharing, to helping us embody who we are, be going through this? Come on, God, can we give them a break? And then I was like, wait a second, though. Every time he comes on, he's got the same message. Trust the journey. Be grateful for all that is. Don't try to get caught up in egoic thinking mind that it should be any different than how it is unfolding for you, never to you. And so you have led by example. When you got in that accident from the bike on Jessica's birthday while she was really pregnant, hit by the RV, I think you came on and did a YouTube, like what, 24 hours later. I mean, I was like, this guy is showing us, not telling us, demonstrating what it means to live and lead your mission. So I just want to like say that. So I get it. Now, though, unless there's anything you want to add there, I want to just ask another question.
Go for it. Go for it. Wherever you want to lead.
Well, I realized I could just like be like, hey, Michael, what do you want to talk about? Because you could go off for like 5 hours by yourself, which is just beautiful, right? So I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. I've got someone who loves to share. There was a particular video that I mentioned at the top of this that rocked my world when I needed it most. And at the time, and it's been changed titles, so no one's going to find it from this title. And I shared it in the show resources many times in my own show. And it was basically like the 20 ways to know that your guides, your angels and guides are communicating with you right now. And I was a novice, like, even though I've been spiritual my whole life and a self-development junkie and, and some of those mentors are my friends and past guests on this show. I didn't really ever know about this realm that was awaiting me all along, that really brought my truest self to life. But it's because of you in the RV with the hailstorm, talking about it, having disconnection and yelling into the mic because you couldn't even hear yourself over the storm that was happening. I was like, this guy is just amazing. So I was laughing my ass off, but I was also just like so moved and expanded by your message. So anyway, because we're in this upgrade, because there's so much confusion and many people are feeling stuck and scared and hopeless, but yet the veil is thin, as you keep saying. So what would you say right now off the top of your head, what you've been able to recognize and help thousands of others understand how to begin to connect with the other side, our angels and guides that are always present and communicating with us? What are some of those signs, Michael?
I love that you use the word signs. So I'm going to give people playtime. I don't give homework, but I give playtime, even on other people's, especially on other people's shows, because then you're responsible for them. Why not? Everybody, I want you to go out and buy a journal, get a physical thing. I don't want you to do this on your phone because I want this to have some texture to it, some meat to it. Yes. And Michelle's pulling up her journal here. And I want you to start your miracle journal. Is your miracle journal? Universe, angels, guides, loved ones, miracle. On the other side, there are so many on your team trying to reach out to you. Heck, there is Michelle that I'm speaking to right here. And that is a fractional amount of who you are. And then there's the you that is everywhere. We call it the other side of the veil. We're just inside of this everywhere of the other side of the veil. There's your higher self who's speaking to you as well. We crack out our miracle journal. They're always trying to speak to us. And we start looking for 4 things. 3 S's, 1 F. We'll get there. And it's not the F that you get in school. All right. What are the 3 S's? Signs, symbols, synchronicities. God, give me a sign of, holy crap, I can't believe that bird almost hit the car. Hello, that's a sign. What do I do about, why is there a giant question mark that just showed up on the billboard in front of me? That's a symbol. Synchronicity. I wonder, I've been in touch with Michelle. She's now a dear friend ever since we had this show, way back when in 2022. Oh, wait, my phone is ringing. Oh my God, it's Michelle calling me. That's a synchronicity. Or going all the way back since I know high school, maybe junior high, I would look at my watch and like right now it's 1:29. What I would get is 1:29 and 29 seconds, 1:31 and 31 seconds. I kept on getting these repeated digits. I had no idea what the meaning was. And it was driving batty. And I'm like asking other kids, do you get this? They're like, okay, you're weird. Write these things down. In legal terms, somebody can be tried, convicted, and worse because of what's called a preponderance of the evidence. It is a book of evidence. And what you will find by writing down the signs, symbols, synchronicities because this is the language of your angels and guides. The language of your angels and guides is not English or whatever language you speak. It is supra. It is above language. It's why I often, when I'm not channeling, have trouble with words, which is weird because on air, nobody would ever know that. But as I'll tell to Jessica all the time as I'm going, East Europe, and she's saying, what are you trying to say? I'm like, the baby milk is in the fridge. Didn't you catch that? I'll say, language is not my first language.
Mhm.
It's not. Energy is your first language. Light is your first language, which means that they're going to speak to you above the language of words. And that's actually very powerful. When I speak to people where I channel or do anything like that, I'll get images, typically from pop culture movies or something, or I'll get different snippets of songs. And we've all gotten that, Michelle. We've all woken up and had a song stuck in our head. Write down the words. There's meaning for you in them. So start super sleuthing your life and getting it all down. Bus cuts in front of you. You moved the car before you were even aware of it. Get it down. You will get that preponderance of evidence. And then let's go to the F, and it's not the one that you get in school. This is pure energy. This is the feeling state. So I've got an RV coming on Friday. I mentioned that. Well, guess what? On the checklist, it has most of what I was looking for, some things that are even cooler, but a few of the really cool things that I wanted, it doesn't have. And it drives my thinking mind batty. My mind's going, but wait, I need to get this. And we should not do this yet. And I should look over here and I want to be Sisyphus and push the stone uphill as hard as I can. However, if I feel into it, it's just right.
Yeah.
If I feel into it, I have a knowing.
Yes.
That's not coming from you. Never was, never will be. The knowings didn't come from you. I didn't want to go down that dark alley. Yeah. Hello. Somebody on the other side is speaking to you. It's hard in the beginning. That's an understatement. It is incredibly challenging at the beginning to listen, not to the 3 S's. We might get that, but to listen to that feeling state. We don't trust ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
What we get to realize is it didn't start with you. It didn't come from you. Baby Hannah right now, she's 7 months old. She's busting moves on her bouncy with dancing that I probably will never be able to do in my entire life. Half splits and kick outs and kicking her heel together. She's 7 months of age. So the question is, did this come from her? No, a chance. It may have come from her higher self. She may have had past lives or something, or may have been the tool that she needs to put her in a spotlight. We're not rushing her to go anywhere. But in fact, we're very protective of that. But these things didn't start with her. The pull on your heart, the things that you loved as a little kid before you were told not to, didn't start with you. We get to start trusting that feeling state again. That's your greatest cable or connection with the other side. The more that you can start trusting the feeling state, and it's really hard in the beginning, the more, we'll use that word matrix, the more you are set free from the matrix to live at a higher level, what I call the level of the mystic, freed from what's going on in this world while still watching it, still participating in it, but not being stuck in it.
I love that. Playing the witness, as my lifelong teacher, Ram Dass, speaks about all the time, right? Which is one of ourselves. It's that fractional part of who we are. Thank you for that beautiful journey. I was getting the full body chills. There was such a co-resonance in everything that you were sharing. And I'm having this full on pinch me moment, like, I want to go on the show. So I just had to say that for a moment. It's like, it's really happening. Thank you, angels. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I'm going to throw a really silly synchronicity here. I was trying to place a Whole Foods order right before this that I didn't get finished, that I'm going to finish the Whole Foods order right afterwards, Michelle. I've only met Ram Dass once in my life and on the physical plane. And it was at Maui in Whole Foods.
What?
And he had
So,
you can, you're looking at the spirit.
That is so beautiful. Yeah, he has, my whole life, but really this past 16 months, I actually became devoted to his body of work and started, like I said, it was like calling out all the troops, like, all right, God, guide me, direct me, who's my team, right? In the
Now,
living form, non-living form, but like, let me really understand what they've been saying because I need help, right? And so I want to just bridge to something that you just said, which is learning to cultivate self-trust while being aware of the matrix, understanding it's a simulation, even though that's so hard for us to actually understand really, but having some sense of that. How do we, Michael, grow in our self-trust? What are some baby steps that you could recommend or that you've experienced in your own life that have been deeply valuable?
start with small decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Start to flex your muscle with small decisions. Now, I'm a muscle testing guy, and it doesn't have to be muscle testing, but I used to go into, instead of Whole Foods, there was this store called Mana's in Maui, this organic grocery store that was way too much stuff and way too small of a space and way too many spinny people in this one place. Maybe you've been there and you're just like, wee, in a vortex. And typically people run into each other and bump into you and recognize you. And you go in for 5 minutes for one thing and you're there 2 or 3 hours later, your mana's spun. So you go and pick up 2 cans of bean or 2 whatever. Put them to your heart. Close your eye. Which one? Close your eyes. Which one feels right? Go with it. You get another decision. Put it to your heart. You can literally scoop up the energy, bring it into your heart, close your eyes and say, which one feels right? And then go with it. The trick isn't, is it right or is it wrong? The trick is to flex this muscle by going with it. So I call myself a scaredy cat. I say that my thinking mind likes to fight too much, but I will still always, at the end of the day, kicking and screaming, go with it. And it gets stronger to where I can make much bigger decisions and go for it because I started with those little ones.
So good. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. And that makes a lot of sense. Just the micro decisions based on how you feel and then honoring that guidance, honoring that knowing so that you can then look back at your ability to answer the call within, right? And to then build on that trust. It's beautiful because when I'm seeing is happening, and this is what you're talking a lot about on your show, Inspire Nation, people are feeling really stuck, really confused, really lost. And there is an utter lack of who do I trust out there in the matrix, right? Even the sort of left, right, blue, red, which we know it's all just so, fragmented, deliberately so on purpose right now. People, I think, are scared to even have a conversation with their own doctor in this moment, right? And maybe you've experienced the same, I don't know. So how do we then bridge that gap? So you're here, you're learning to trust yourself. You still got to work with certain people, doctors, teachers, all these different people that we used to see on a pedestal because they were on TV. Now we're learning, wait, not so much, but a big collective exhale right now because people are feeling like, oh my God, is there anything or anyone that I can actually rely on?
Yourself. We've had it ripped away from us when we were a child. It was all ripped away from us for safety's sake. You look up to your parents. Are they happy? Are they upset with me? If they're happy, I will keep doing what they want. If they're upset, unless that was your karma to come in and really butt heads, you are going to throw away what you wanted and what you believed in to please that other person, to please society, to please the tribe. Heck, if you didn't please the tribe, and this is epigenetics for thousands and thousands, if not millions of generations, you were cast out and eaten by the lion, so to speak. It's a life or death thing to be accepted by the tribe. Well, guess what? The tribe is broken. The tribe don't know best, except that in the brokenness is the word I never use, salvation. The more broken this world gets, the more we recognize that it ain't out there. It's an inside job. You want to go to the doctor and get the answers you want, you need to speak to yourself first, or you need to speak to the higher self first, so that you go in. And when you have, and I've had it myself, white smock syndrome, where all of a sudden you give away all of your power to the person on the other side, you go, wait, I've had this conversation before. In fact, I made a list of things so I was prepared so that I would stay in my own power. The nuttier this world gets, it's by design. So 2 things are going on right now. First, well, we got the veil, so we'll call it three things. First, that is the veil is thinning. Secondly, we have the energy is going up, and you can see it in time. Just as I had a client who I spoke with a half an hour who goes, 2 weeks ago, it's been 2 weeks. Wasn't that like 5 minutes ago? Time is on an accelerator right now. And we can feel it, we can sense it, and we know it, and it's real. Yeah. Everything is being compressed. And you could look at, well, you could go back in time. You've got what, a bronze age, a gold age, an industrial age, of this age, of that age. Now the ages go by in what, like a month or something. It's happening so fast. And the catastrophes and calamities, which were maybe once a decade or once a lifetime, then once a decade, are now almost like once a day. It's craziness. So we're on this accelerator of time. And at the same time, we're feeling more and more stuck because we're completely bombarded with messages about how everything is broken, nothing can be fixed, and everything is an amplifier of your deepest, darkest fears. Go into YouTube, put in one thing, whatever it is, and it'll take you to another, and a darker down the hole, and another, and we've got the whole Twitter landscape. We don't even have to go there. It's all amplification, but it's actually here to serve you. We think, but there's more, there's this, there's that. Actually, yeah, the nuttiness will continue. So here's one of my favorite statements, which is my old Michael twisted sense of humor, where I used to have, instead of successories, I used to have these poster things that were the opposite: give up, man, she's gone, and stuff like that. The twisted, or talking about, you're going to crash and fail. They were, you're showing the skier and saying about to, and who knows what. But one of my favorite twisted statements is the beatings will continue until morale improves.
Oh, wow.
The beatings will continue until morale improves. The world is going to get crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier until you go, that's insane. That's not real.
Yes.
And so when you recognize that the insanity is here to serve you, to wake you up, now you're, I guess the term that's been stolen is woke. Now you have woken up from the matrix, and you can never go back. You see it for the insanity of what it is. You see that somebody's telling me on TV that I'm not good enough, or I'm not good enough looking, or I don't have enough money, or I'm supporting the wrong color. Or you see a bumper sticker on a car that says, if you're this color or that color, and now I'm talking about on the bars of red, white, and blue, that you're not a good person. What?
Right.
And you wake up to it. So it is by design getting crazier and crazier. It is by design stripping away all of our sense of self, all of our sense of worth, all of our sense of decision-making, until it gets to such a ramped up level that we go, I'm not going to take it anymore. And that's actually a great thing. So you're overwhelmed, you're feeling stuck is, well, let's look at the center of the earth. What do we have at the center of the earth as best as we understand it? And who knows, maybe there are people living down there. I don't know. But there is this giant molten iron ball spinning inside of there, glowing so bright. You have this spinning sun glowing inside of you, and it's going faster and faster and faster and faster until you say, I'm not going to take it anymore because of all this energy coming to you. And you go, poof, and the shell goes off, and you're beaming bright. That feeling of being stuck is the iron molten ball inside of you, called the sun, that is within you, spinning faster and faster and faster. So you are not stuck. You couldn't be stuck. You are gaining the momentum, the speed, the mass to help you, like an electron that goes from one state to the next. Literally, once you pop out of the matrix, there ain't no going back to help you get from one state to the next.
Oh, so good. I mean, seriously. And if you guys listen to Inspire Nation, you know exactly why I'm about to say. It's like, does it get any better than this? Can it? Is that the word?
How does it get any better than this? You put it both together. You did great.
Oh, so good. Okay. I have another question then for you to piggyback on that. I'm curious, because I don't know if I've actually heard you speak about this, and I'd like to get something from you if you're willing. What do you actually think is happening? Let me explain. Some people have said planet Earth, Mother Gaia, is in her ascension. It's been known as the age of Aquarius, right? Like the world is in this awakening moment. And Paul Selig says or the guides say, it's going to take 4 generations for this transition of humanity to complete. There's so much information out there, right? Like you got to get on it. We're upgrading all these things that I almost feel like it's causing a little bit more confusion. But you're so clear, at least as clear as we know how to be right in this now moment, because that's all we really have. What would you say is your interpretation of what is actually happening? And do you see a timeline? And then if you're willing, can remember all three of these. And if not, I will remind you, how do you see it all playing out?
So
That's a
here,
question.
I will give you my best guess or interpretation
Okay.
of this
Fair
from what
enough.
I've.
Yeah.
This is the ride, Michelle.
Yeah.
We have 8 billion beings here in human form. We have so many more beings here in rooster form, in tree form, in blade of grass form, in, forgive me, everybody, in COVID form.
Yes.
It's
yes.
all beings here having experience, choosing to come here at this time. But if we look at the infinitude of this universe and the infinitude of universes out there, is a fractional number of beings that are on this planet now. And we chose to come here for this party, for this ride, for this journey. It is sacred. It is special. It is like the biggest, baddest roller coaster you have ever been on. It is a screamer.
Yes.
That's where we're at right now. Recognize it for what it is. I talked about an accelerator. Nowhere in the written history of humanity, I am convinced, beyond convinced, this is not version 1.0. This is just a version that we actually make it through, because we can go to Atlantis or all these other civilizations that have gotten close to this point and haven't made it through. They haven't been able to bust through to the other side. And from everything I've understood, this is the time that we do make it. This is the time where we
full body chills. Sorry, to just like they're communicating like, yes, yes, yes. This is the time we make it. Sorry to interrupt. I'm just in complete co-resonance.
This is the time we make it, and you can see it. You write down those signs, those symbols, those synchronicities, those feelings, and you watch it in all the world around you. And you actually watch it, even though it's gloom and doom out of the news, because they're so good at looking for those stories. That's their job. If it bleeds, it leads. I went on to the weather thing earlier today, and it's talking about the chaos that's going to come out of a storm. Snowflakes coming out of the sky, man. Where did you get the word chaos? I mean, right? That's their job. But there's so much more love. There's so much more kindness. There's so much more tenderness on a very small level. And this is a ground upwelling. This is not a change coming from the top. It's a change coming from the bottom going up. It's a change from the inside going out. And our insides are all shifting. I cannot tell you if it's this lifetime, if it's 10 years, if it's multiple lifetimes, if it's Hannah Bear's lifetime, my baby. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you, enjoy the ride, drive the car till the wheels fall off, have fun with the craziness. You know, I went to school. In fact, it's interesting. I went back to school as a older student. I went back and got a couple master's degrees in like 2000, 2001, got a computer degree, got an MBA. And I thought, I'm going to rock this Silicon Valley world. I go into school and there's this board, job board, and it's saying, we'll pay this bonus for hiring this in computers. We'll pay that bonus. We'll pay double bonus. We'll pay triple bonus. And then 6 months before I graduated, .com burst.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's getting hired. In fact, your senior level PhD engineers are taking entry level jobs. Right. The whole world shifted. That's where we're at right now. Another giant cosmic shift. We ride it till the wheels come off. We recognize it is all steering and all guidance. We dive in on the inside and we say there must be a reason behind all of this. And there was one more piece that I wanted to add to this, because to me, it is such an exciting, brilliant, beautiful time, even in the chaoticness. I don't see it as anything but magnificent, hard, painful, challenging. And I see so many last gasps. There's a beautiful, I'm having a hard time getting through it because I'm energetically sensitive, and I know you are too. I'm watching an episode of Letterman's new-ish show. I can't remember the name of it. And he's interviewing the president of Ukraine.
Interesting.
He traveled there, and he's in a subway 300 feet below ground. interviewing the president. And I have a hard time as a spiritual teacher understanding war on a conscious level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
On a higher level, and I can hear Paul and Paul Selig's guides going, we have chosen this. When we choose something else, this will no longer exist. And that is so, so true. But it doesn't mean on an individual level, I'm going, I choose war. But it's a collective vibration, a collective agreement. We're humanity, in my opinion, and this is getting back to Atlantis and stuff, humanity 0.0 in a sense. What does that mean? It means that in the hierarchy of civilizations, and we're entering the, well, I'm hearing, I'm forgetting his name now, UFOologist extreme. He's been on the show multiple times.
Michael Sala?
Say that again?
Michael Sala?
Nope, another gentleman. Stephen Greer. Stephen Greer.
Yeah.
We are entering the intergalactic community. Once we hit a certain level of consciousness, and once we started playing with things that we probably shouldn't be playing with, we are entering that level.
Yeah.
And not all civilizations make it there. Many of them blow themselves up. And this, my timeline suggests, and many, if not all of the greatest teachers that I've spoken with, we're going to make it through. Certainly speaking on the other side of the veil, I know we're going to make it through. We are at civilization or humanity 0.0, meaning we learn with bumps and bruises and licks and ticks. You know, I get hit by the SUV. That's an upgrade. It doesn't have to be that way. That's the lowest level of a civilization that makes it. We're going to learn on an energetic playing field above this. Yes, we're going to learn on a level more of kumbaya. Certainly there are challenges. It's not that all of a sudden we're going to go to 1.0 and everything is just puppies and roses. Because this is all about expansion. It's all about ascension. It's not about enlightenment and getting out, meaning I'm just going to flit around up here and be a spiritual being. No, man, you chose to incarnate. Angels and guides are like, man, you were brave. Angels are like, we got wings to play on the other side. We're not in physical form. You got cojones or whatever you want to call it for doing it this lifetime. However, we're going to make it through this time period and we're going to live and learn a different way. That's to me the electron state change. I'm such a physics nerd or geek. You take an electron, you charge that sucker up, and it's going to vibrate really, really violently. And until all of a sudden it hits another level and another orbit, and it's a total peace. We are shaking and rocking and rolling. Let's go back to old school space shuttle. If you can remember a space shuttle taking off and you see the ice and gas sloughing off the sides and you see the arms breaking away from the spaceship. And it is such a violent act of creation. And those astronauts, I don't care how well trained they are, they're scared out of their pants. I mean, they're wearing diapers. They're scared out of their pants until they get up to space. And then they're in a state of total peace.
Yes.
That's where we're at right now. But instead of fighting against what is, you strap yourself in and you enjoy the ride for all it's worth.
God, that's so beautifully said. Thank you very, very much. Deeply moved by that. And also, once again, just a complete coherence with you. David Icke, just to give one realm of the sort of spectrum of who's been kind of talking about this transition all the way to the guides, and then you right there along this journey. Talk about how we are in an identity crisis, right? We have forgotten who we really are, and we are of great spirit, right? All that ever has been, will be, and ever has or is. I can't remember exactly how he says that. Then you've got, the guides through Paul Selig talking about how, for every one of us, 8 billion on the planet and more, right, sentient beings, et cetera, that awaken to the truth of who we are, that get into this co-resonance with the upper realm, that we also contribute to 1,000 more beings awakening, right? Because I was asking, like, does there need to be a percentage? Because this is what you'll hear, right? There's all these rules, and it's like, when I awaken, and this is why what we're really talking about here is, Our personal upgrades make a beautiful and benevolent contribution to the whole. And that for me is what this time has really become about. And I want to just parlay this into my automatic writing that's changed my life. I'm going to get there in a second, but the more that I awaken to my true identity and how I serve in spirit, right? The more that I attune to people like you, that's why my highest self brought me to you. The more that then we amplify and multiply this, which is what Reverend Michael Beckwith, who was my teacher for 20 years, said most recently on Inspire Nation, your show. Yeah, that was phenomenal, that episode. But this is what I'm seeing. And so we just can't be concerned about those not getting it yet, because we don't know what their journey is supposed to be. And also, more importantly, every time that we thank the angels and guides, we live in this vibrational harmony with Mother Earth and her ascension, the more that we are truly making a beautiful contribution to the whole. Whatever that timeline may be, that's just ego for us to try to figure out. Get out your virtual popcorn and enjoy this amazing ride, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and a couple things on it, and I know you wanted to dive into all real quickly.
Yeah.
If you go to the grocery and a cashier is having a miserable day, and you work hard and you smile and you finally get her or him to crack a smile, that's sharing your energy at a higher level.
Yes.
Your energy, your light, your song, and that's the second piece that I'm going to get to, affects, infects, and has an effect on everyone. We are playing a symphony of humanity. It sounds like a cacophony. Nothing could be further from the truth. The more that you play your note and your music, nobody else's music, you're not going to be judged for playing your music. You don't have to worry about anybody else. But the better you play your music, your truth, and yes, your energy having an energetic experience in human form. You are greatness. You are the divine. You are, period. You are the divine. You're not the whole of the divine, but you are the divine. You are everything. You are everywhere. The more that you begin to play your musical note and your music, the more everybody's music improves. And going back to Paul Selling and his guys, the more that you are playing a higher note, a higher octave, the more everybody gets into your word, Michelle, harmony. You know that when you sing with another person, all of a sudden your voice is locked and you can hear that warble. It's really cool. Yeah. Or like going back to Maui, you can go into the volcano of Haleakala, dormant at the moment, 400 years dormant. And I'm like, interesting. But you can go in there and there are places where you can sing and you can hear your voice vibrating back off of the rock. And you're singing with another voice and the voice is yours. It's wild. The more that we get into harmony with everyone around us, the more we begin to lift everyone up to a new song, to a higher vibration, to the greatest symphony. You may have had the experience, Jessica's had the experience of hearing the etheric music in a dream and going, that wasn't a dream. That's who and what we are. All you have to do is play your music. You don't have to go pick it. You don't have to go sign petitions or all this really good stuff. But you work in here on your music. And I'm not saying hang out in the cave. Nothing could be further from the truth. But you work on your musical note, on what lights you up, on what brings you greatness, which is really find the creative process for you. Your music will affect, infect, and have an effect on everyone, whether or not you ever leave your house or not.
Woohoo! Totally true. And so it is. Oh man, that would be like the most beautiful place to wrap, but I would be remiss. Do you have just a couple more minutes for me to share about my writing experience?
Please do. Please
because
do.
This is, thank you. This is something that I've been journaling my whole life. I've always, journaled gratitude and things like that, but there was something in the way that you just over and over and over and over again have just always talked about the awe, right? It's your book, it's a program, it's a community, it's a movement, the automatic writing experience. And it is an experience to get out of the thinking mind and just to flow and to be and to see, how spirit is downloading your song or your note, right? Even if you might not know that it makes sense in the moment. Well, I started doing that actually earlier this summer because we're recording in late December of 22. And I noticed that I started talking about this relationship vision. Now I had done that my whole life. So that wasn't necessarily anything new, but what was shifting, it was not about me, mine, and what I wanted. It became a we, ours, and us. And it became this vision as homesteaders, maybe, and and what we stand for, and these aligned values that had everything to do with about how we serve humanity, and this profound polarity that wasn't necessarily defined by the sexual nature, although that's always good, but it was like masculine and feminine, taking us back to our true nature. There was all these beautiful things that I was like, who did this? Right. And it was this beautiful experience that I'd light a candle, I'd drink my cup of, hot something, yummy. And I would do it in the mornings for pretty much all summer. And at the same time, I was talking to this beautiful soul that he lived in North Carolina. I'm like, what's going to really come of this? But the more that I kind of automatic wrote, or I would say downloaded, the more that the vision of us came to life, and he was picking it up way sooner than I was. And our relationship manifested. And it was a miraculous, magical, easy, profound, reverent gratitude that I have on my soul. Like I could just deep bow this gift. And now I'm moving to North Carolina. We're starting a life together at the beginning of the new year. That's just one example. I could go off. I have about a dozen, but this automatic writing experience that you have encouraged, your hundreds of thousands of listeners and viewers around the world to get into, it's real. It's tangible. You got to believe in the mystic. You got to believe in the magic. You got to be willing to be willing, right? But I'd love for you to just wrap that up about what we can learn from automatic right now in this time when we're feeling stuck. We don't know who to trust. We want to trust ourselves. All the things that we've been talking about here today.
It's interesting. I had a conversation with Miracle last night in automatic writing. In automatic writing, the best description I can give of it is you go quiet, you get into a meditative-ish state. You don't have to be able to meditate. You put pen to paper, a few simple prayers. You've made it a ceremony, Michelle. I love that. And you put your pen to paper, and it's almost like universe, spirit, somebody is saying, we've been waiting for you, Michelle. and off to the races it goes. And you learn about yourself at a deep soul level. You learn about yourself and where you are on your journey. So last night, I'm going, I want to write. I mean, there's this burning desire, which is why I pulled back and I've been on sabbatical from shows this fall, from interviewing others, because I feel this need to write. And yet this vacuum seems to keep being filled by other things. And so last night I go into automatic writing, and there's Miracle going, chill, daddy. It's all good. I've got you. Here's what's going on. Here's what you got to do. Here's where you go from here. Do not worry about this. Do not lose sight of your dream. I will guide you each step of the way. You don't even sound like my baby anymore. And she's like, in the mornings, I'm more of rah, rah. You're getting my divine feminine side of rah, rah, daddy, we can do this. She said in the evening, you're getting my masculine side right now of here's how we're going to get it done. And I'm like, whoa. And this is for all of us. This is accessible to have that level of guidance on the other side, literally with loved ones who've transitioned, but you also have your guardian angel who's been with you since the beginning of time. Call it what you will. We don't have to believe in feathery things. There's an energetic, higher dimensional being that saved your ass and is going to continue to save your ass and is waiting to help you. You have other higher dimensional beings who want to help steer you as well. Why? Well, we can look at it this way. Humanity is coming together, as you said, all as one. We've got cell phones. We've got technology. Humanity has really congealed. Even if it appears that we're being torn apart, we have the ability to communicate and recognize everybody as our neighbor because they're on, a Twitter or an Instagram or a TikTok where we never had that before. So we are all coming together at this time period. And our higher dimensional beings are going, yeah, and they've got some interstellar boom booms that aren't so good. We better help these guys out.
Yeah.
Call it angels. You can call it guides. It's all true. Or you can call it whatever. But there are higher dimensional beings who want to help you with your individual song because it helps all of the known universes and beyond because your song is sung that much. So we dive in like you dive in every single morning, like which has brought you an amazing miracle in North Carolina. How does it get any better than this? And you will get guidance on your life. Now, it's a teaching tool. I will not say, we'll say, do this, Michelle, do that, the other Michelle, don't do this, don't breathe, do this, do the other thing, and here's your whole life laid out before you, because then you might as well sit on the couch, and I still don't know what they are, but eat bonbons. You know, you might as well just check out. That's not how it works. But you're going to learn more about yourself. You're going to learn more about the patterns, the wounds, the traumas, the dramas, the experiences. You're going to learn more about how to clear away those wounds as well and live a higher, lighter level. But you'll also learn about all of what humanity is going through. You will learn at such a high level of what the known universe or universes are going through. And that means you literally become a mystic, all just sitting there in front of your journal going, what do I need to know today, Spirit? And Spirit goes, well, here's where we're going to begin. And to me, that is how does it get any better than this? You're no longer lost the same way. You get a higher level understanding, and you're no longer going out of the house when somebody's cutting down the tree next to your house and you're going, oh God. And you're no longer going, why are you doing this? But you recognize them for the divine being that they are. And the whole world transforms just by putting your pen to paper in the morning and let Spirit speak with you. Last note, this is not prayer. You can certainly put prayer into it, but prayer is, God, help me. And certainly I've said that a time or two in my automatic writing. Angels, help me. I've said that probably as recently as last night. Angels, I need help with whatever. And in this case, it's, man, I really want that house. Angels, please help me figure that out. Please help give me the time to write even more. You say it's coming. And that's when Miracle stepped forward last night and said, chill, Dad, I got you. It's all good. Yes. But prayer is putting something out there and even, half believing something will happen. Automatic writing. And the reason I call it awe, or I don't call it awe, I call it awe. This is awe. And it's that higher elevated state that you get when Spirit speaks back to you and opens the door for a two-way conversation and at the highest level. That's like standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon and having tears pouring down because you're seeing something so beautiful, because now you're no longer alone. You never were, you never will be, but you no longer feel alone. You're in what I call communion, the highest level communication with the other side.
Oh, Michael, that is so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Woohoo! Truly, from the depths of my being, and it reminds me, as I'll begin to wrap here, what Reverend Michael Beckwith always says, and he says, "When you write, you invite." So you talked about how we're working with Spirit, right? And that has been my experience. So thank you for articulating so beautifully. And yes, esoterically, but in a very tangible way. Like, here's the thing, and this is what I want to leave my listeners with. We are on this journey together. No one is alone, nor will be left behind. But there is something to be said for, we've got to be responsible and accountable for our own devotion to our sacred rituals, to our ceremonies, to our practices. Like, it ain't gonna happen for us. So take the 10 minutes per day, and you just might get one of those magical experiences that you're like, what? This is my miracle. It was waiting all along. But we just get so distracted and we're like, yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. Let me just check Instagram one more time. So I think devotion is something just to really consider for my listeners. I love you all so much. And it's been a minute since we've been on the pod together. So just want to say thank you, Michael, for bringing us home. This has been a phenomenal conversation. I'm deeply grateful. What else do we need to know about you and or my listeners who maybe want to get involved in your community? Where should we start? And we'll take it from there.
3 things, but I'm going to give you a tiny quick metaphor real fast.
Okay.
Which is you believe in God, you believe in Spirit, you're in communication with the other side, and you say, God, help me win the lottery. And God, help me win the lottery. God, help me win the lottery. I've been devoted. I've been this, I've been that, I've been the other. And eventually you die, you kick the bucket, you end up at the pearly gates of heaven. And you'll go, God, I've done everything for you. Why couldn't you have just helped me win the lottery? And God says, why didn't you buy a ticket?
Oh,
We have to step forward, Michelle.
Yes.
It's required. It's not optional. We
Mm.
have to step forward, whatever that means for us. Now, certainly, I would say automatic writing is one of the absolute greatest ways to step forward. You have to find your vehicle and ride that till the wheels come off. But that vehicle needs to be a communicative one with the other side. We can no longer pretend to go it alone. You aren't alone. You weren't alone. You'll never be alone. We might as well call in that help. And if you keep getting 911 in your life, if you keep seeing 911, that is an angel number. It doesn't mean danger. It doesn't mean twin towers are coming down. What it means is call on help.
Yeah.
And that's where I go to something like automatic writing. 3 places I want people to go. There are 3 possibilities. 1, if you like the energy that you're hearing here, go to dailywoohoo.com, spelled daily, DAILY, woohoo, WOOHOO. Go to dailywoohoo.com, tongue twister. And you will get a daily short little story or newsletter from me that helps bring your vibration up. And guess what happens? It's contagious. I'm biased. I went to the Nobel Peace Prize Summit. I was invited there a few years ago. And my whole mission is, how can I help change consciousness or raise humanity to a higher level? And I'm biased. This newsletter will change your energy, change your life, and then you'll change somebody else's just by being you, and change somebody else's just like by them being them. dailywoohoo.com is a life changer. Secondly, learn automatic writing. Get the book. Of course, you can go to automaticwriting.com. You get and buy the book, and you get bonuses, and you get brain entrainment music and so much more. Or come to a live class with me. I have live classes once a month, automaticwriting.com, and then become the mystic you were always meant to be. You're energetically sensitive. I know you are. You've probably been told you are too sensitive, or as a weakness, you're an empath. Like, that's a bad thing that you can feel other people's energy. Of course, we get to learn boundaries, and we get to learn how to watch out for people who are hoovers, certainly. But you are a mystic in training. That means you hear without ears. You see without eyes, you know without thoughts, and you know what I'm talking about because you're already starting to live on the other side of the veil on both sides at the same time. You just don't know what to do with it or how to be trained to use these magic mystical skills. I have a school for you where we come together of community. You could say community of crazies, meaning community of loving, like-minded individuals who will not see you as nuts, but will recognize you for who and what you truly are. And we meet 4 Wednesdays a month. You can find that at inspirenationuniversity.com. You want to talk about a game changer and bringing your energy up and helping you. You're going, I don't need to save the whole world. I just want to not feel like I'm nuts or broken or something's wrong with me or why don't I understand things? You will get it, and you will get the big picture big time and be able to play. This needs to metal. You'll be able to play with energy at a higher level, and that's who and what you are. You will come into the light, and that is inspirenationuniversity.com, and join our School of Mystics.
Amazing. So many beautiful resources and opportunities to connect and upgrade as a collective. And we will make sure that we leave all of those resources in the show notes. So y'all can just don't even have to worry about remembering any of that. Definitely also tune into Inspire Nation on YouTube. There is a transmission that comes through you, Michael. And I'm feeling it here. No doubt my listeners are feeling it as well. So I just want to thank you for upgrading us today. I'm so grateful for who you be and for you answering the call and trusting yourself to be on this journey to serve so many of us around the world. Can't thank you enough. Big, big love and gratitude to you and to Jessica and to Hannah and to Rue and the whole fur family. All my love and gratitude.
It goes both ways, and that's a mighty. All my love, Michelle. All my love. Thank you.
Thank you.